Hey guys, it's been a while since I've actually had a chance to just kind of sit down and review something, and I'll have a couple of things up here pretty soon, but I thought I would real quickly just kind of recap on the things that I have been seeing to kind of keep the channel updated and keep you guys updated on what I thought on some things. And for fun, since there are quite a few things that I've seen, I'm just going to kind of belt through them, 60 seconds each, just quick little spot reviews for everything that I've been seeing so far. So let's see if I can do this. Of all the movies in recent memory that stand the highest chance of improving with a sequel, Ninja Turtles was definitely one of them because it sucked so hard that there's no way you could possibly make it worse, right? Well, here we are with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and boy, that sucked worse than the first one did. Fans bitched and screamed for Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang to be in a Ninja Turtles movie, and now we finally got it. Congratulations. All your bickering and moaning finally paid off because now they've actually made the movie worse. Krang is one of the most annoying things I've ever heard in my life, and his introduction is so ham-fisted. I'm honestly would not be surprised if it was put in post, like reshoots, just to appease the fans. This is a Ninja Turtles movie where Bebop and Rocksteady compare their dick sizes with each other. This is a Ninja Turtles movie where the Shredder doesn't fight the Turtles. In fact, he doesn't fight anyone. The Turtles still bitch and moan with each other because they can't learn how to be a family, even though, despite having grown up. Aren't we sick of this by now? Can we figure out something else for the Turtles to do? It's... Oh, fuck you, I'm gonna keep going. This is one of the worst Ninja Turtle movies ever, even including the third one from the 90s when they time traveled back to Japan.
I see 20 or 30 girls come in here every day. Mostly from small towns with big dreams. And they're all good. You're going to be great.
Kneeland Demon is not a particularly new story. It's a girl from a small town who moves into the big city with her dreams of being a model. And you've heard this kind of thing before, but the thing is that it's handled so delicately and so differently that it makes it both fascinating to watch but also difficult to recommend. It doesn't have a typical 3-act structure, it doesn't have any kind of real villain necessarily, and the whole thing moves like a dream that slowly it starts out as a dream, but then slowly but surely starts to turn into a nightmare. It's very bloody, it's going to make you very uncomfortable. I'm used to it at this point. But there are things in that movie that are going to make you squirm. I want to particularly point out that everyone's performance is fantastic, but Abby Lee, who's never been in a movie before, puts in one of the most subtle, horrifying, and nuanced performances that I think we'll see all year. She's absolutely fantastic. I recommend it if you have a strong stomach, and if you like movies that are a little abstract and don't explain everything right up front. It will leave you with things to talk about. Damn it. It sucks when you have a movie that you really want to talk about and you only have a few seconds to talk about it. Seriously, go see it. Finding Dory is exactly what you think of when you imagine a Pixar movie. It's exactly what you want, it's exactly what you expect, and it does that very well. It plays it safe, but it is exactly what you imagine when you think of Pixar movies nowadays. There's just enough pop culture references to keep adults entertained. It's just cute enough for everybody. There is one rather darker moment that they don't fully commit to that I'm kind of glad they didn't, but also it would have given the movie a bit more of an identity, a bit more of an edge if it had committed with it. Not bad either way. Both are perfectly fine, and honestly, it probably was for the best in the whole, the grand scheme of things. It's a safe bet if you ever don't want to, if you just clocked off of work and you just want to watch a movie and you don't want to necessarily think too hard, you don't want to be challenged, you just want to be entertained. It does that very well without talking down to you or being stupid. It is very well done. Okay, I got my recommendation. That's it. Lights Out is a slightly better than average PG-13 horror flick. It has a nice emotional core to it, very much like The Babadook, but not quite as well executed as The Babadook. It has a cool concept to it. The monster, specter, ghost thing can only exist in shadow. If the lights get turned on, it vanishes, hence the title. The director of this actually directed the short that it was based on. They got the same person, which is good, because his love and attention for the concept, for the idea, it's very much his brainchild, shows through. The cast is very well done. There's a couple of concepts that... The movie is too short, unfortunately, to really flesh out some of the concepts they introduced, like the black light and the mind control psychosis stuff. And that kid actor sucks shit. Had the movie been a little bit longer, they could have elaborated a little bit more on the black light and the other stuff. But for what it is better than what you would expect. I would recommend it more as a rental than as a theatrical, or maybe a matinee or something like that. I did okay on that one. I was actually running out of stuff to say. The Shallows, however, is a much, much better PG-13 horror flick. I actually didn't know it was PG-13 when I went into it. It's a shark movie, so that can kind of hamper your expectations a little bit, but it actually shouldn't. It's elevated to another level purely on Blake Lively's performance. Her depiction of being just terrified and alone and kind of seeking redemption in a way gives the movie a lot of heart. It's a very simple premise, doesn't need to be anything more than it needs to be. It's a nice throwback to just a simpler, hey, it's just a shark. Guess what? That's a big enough of a problem. It doesn't need to be a huge apocalypse like type movie. I will say that there is one problem. Stevie the Seagull kind of ruins the movie a little bit. It's a seagull, but they keep cutting to reaction shots of the seagull as if it's a real person, and it kind of breaks a lot of the very well built tension. But having said that, it is still a far superior shark. Damn it. Well, no, that's good. I got what I wanted.
Fear of death is illogical. Fear of death is what keeps us alive.
Whether or not you liked Into Darkness, a lot of people generally can agree that Into Darkness was not as good as the first one, the first of the new ones. It was a step down. Star Trek Beyond, for me, was one of the best movies I've seen this year. It was a lot of fun. It very much takes advantage of the ensemble cast. They all have different things to do. It matches them up with people you wouldn't expect them to necessarily. You get to see interactions that you don't necessarily see all the time, and it turns out to be a lot of fun. There wasn't a whole lot of plot logic. Probably the biggest issue is just the villain. The villain is very blah. Idris Elba's a great actor, but he doesn't have much to work with in this. And they unfortunately wait until the last act to reveal what his motivation is, and by that point, it's kind of hard to care anymore. But the crux of the movie, the weight of the movie, the heart of the movie is in the cast. They work really well with each other. The plot works really well. It's honest and it's cut really well. So Star Trek Beyond is probably the best of the series. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, it was originally a joke, but as it turns out, 9 Lives was better than this.